Work hard, listen, learn, and always speak your mind. And no matter what you think you don't have, you're just as important as anyone else. Take the back seat to no one. We're all the same in God's eyes. These are the famous words spoken many times by my idol, or what I always call him, my hero, my grandpa. Travel with me, Eddie, and hear the story of Ronald VandenBosch. Ronald was born in Hall, Iowa on April 6, 1950, weighing 9 pounds 15 ounces. Ronald had hazel eyes and a beautiful full head of black hair. His mother's name was Lois and his dad's name was Sebastian, but everyone called him Bert. Ronald was the oldest of 7 children, 6 boys and 1 girl. His siblings' names are Ronald, Larry, Doug, Lenny, Margaret, Kirk, and Monty. His father, Bert, was Lyon County supervisor and ran his own truck repair business. Lois was a stay-at-home mom and was also a cook for the Central Lyon School District. Ronald, also known as Ron, lived in Hall for 1 year and then moved to Dune and lived there his entire childhood life. An amazing story about Ron is one day his dad Bert was working on a Farmall M tractor. The tractor fell on Bert and Ron just happened to be there visiting. Ron quickly lifted the tractor off his dad and he was taken to Rock Rapids Hospital, where from there was brought to Sioux Falls. Ron came back and tried to lift it again with his brothers, but they couldn't. It must have been a God thing. Ron's favorite toy was the Lincoln Log building blocks, and his family celebrated each holiday together, and it was nothing big or exciting, but they were still very special with lots of love. He was out for Little League baseball, and his friends were the Postmas, Manels, Krolls, Jansmas, and the Ryans. All the Dune kids hung out and got along. One time, Lois was busy doing the wash, and a cat snuck into the washer and got washed with a big blanket. Needless to say, the cat did not survive. Grandma Lois was not a fan of pets. Ron had a rabbit, but he can't remember the name. Now we will describe Ron's growing-up years. He says times were tough growing up, but they were great. The years get better as the years pass by, he says. When he was a child, the president was Dwight D. Eisenhower. Ron attended Rock Valley Christian School and then transferred to the Dune Christian School and finally came to Central Lyon in Dune. His favorite subject was algebra. He can solve any math problem we give him. He walked and rode bus to school every day, and he was out for basketball and track. His first job was being a mud tender for Ardema Construction. He was 15 years old. The work was hard, but he liked it. He would also carry and mix cement. Other jobs Ron had was road construction and working at the Hall Creamery. While working at the Hall Creamery, Ron would go on one route to just pick up empty cans and then on another to drop off milk. The truck he drove was a little bigger than a UPS truck and had 2 doors on both sides of the truck to unhaul and pick up milk from barns. Nothing like going to the grocery store today to get a gallon of milk. A funny story is when farms would always have big dogs and he was always scared of the dogs. So one day he decided to take some fireworks along and he set them off and scared the dogs so bad that they never bothered him again. His favorite job was construction, and he loved to run heavy-duty equipment. Some important things he has learned about working is work hard and always listen to what you're taught. He met his future wife by riding around Rock Valley Main Street. Ron was 18 years old when he married Linda, his wife. Linda was 19 years old. They were married on August 10, 1968. When they were first married, they lived upstairs in an apartment in Orange City, and their wedding colors were blue and white. They spent their honeymoon in Hawaii 2 years after their marriage, and they have always lived in Hall, Iowa, but in 4 different houses, but bigger and better each time. Some things he's learned about marriage is to communicate and love each other. Ron and Linda bought their first house in the year 1977 for $15,000. The first car was a 1961 Dodge that cost $200. One touching story about Ron was told by my great-grandma Baker. When Ron was only 18 years old, he and his wife, Linda, lost their firstborn son, Heath, at childbirth. Linda was not allowed to leave the hospital to help with any funeral arrangements. Ron planned all the funeral arrangements and also had in mind not only the death of his son and first child, but being drafted to the Army during the Vietnam War and taken away from his new bride, Linda. Linda had to move back home with her parents even though she was married. Great-Grandma Baker said she will never forget seeing Ron standing out by the grave in the winter with no coat on, knowing what he was going through all at such a young age. When Ron landed in the hot jungles of Vietnam in February 1970, he was assigned the job of being an artillery member and an infantry member. He came home on January 1971. I wrote a paper for the VFW 2 years ago for why I appreciate America's veterans that I would like to share with you in honor of my grandpa Ron. I am a 12-year-old boy and I admire all our veterans. They are our heroes. That saying is on my great-grandpa's headstone. He fought in World War II as a paratrooper. They have risked their lives for ours, and that is a true hero. Veterans should be highly respected by all people, because if it was not for them, we would not have the freedom that we have. My grandpas and great-grandfathers were in the military services. I love hearing and seeing pictures from them. Sometimes my grandpa Ron doesn't like to talk much about it. I respect him because I can't even imagine what he has gone through and seen or done for us all. My grandpa is my hero. My grandpa was put in the vet's hospital recently, and when we went to visit him, they had so many cool things to look at. When you sit back and watch all the men and women enter the hospital, missing arms, legs, and in wheelchairs, it makes me stop and pray for each one of them. The vet's hospital has a cool logo that reads, "The price of freedom could be seen here. Boy, isn't that the truth?" As a young boy, I know it feels good at night to go to sleep knowing we have thousands of men and women protecting us and fighting for our freedom, so I can live in a normal life. I attend a public school, and every day at our lunch I pray. Thank you, God, for our troops still fighting. Please be with the many troops who lost their lives for mine and others. Also, please be with family members who have people gone fighting for us and for those who have never been found. I can't imagine what they go through every day. This past summer, the many veterans all came to our town. It was amazing to see all those names, even though I didn't know any of them. It made me sad yet proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. Ron loves to work on cars and collect pins and hats. Ron and Linda were blessed with 3 daughters, Christy Lynn, Becky Lee, my mom, and Lonnie LeRae. Their daughters are all married and live within a 20-mile radius from Ron and Linda. Ron and Linda have 10 grandchildren, 6 boys and 4 girls. Looking back at 66 years, Ron enjoys being a grandparent knowing he has great-grandchildren. His wish for his children and grandchildren are to love each other and rely on each other and trust in the Lord. He says the similarities he sees between his grandchildren and himself are hard workers, appreciate life, and believe in God. His grandchildren remind himself of his own children because they are kind to others and are caring. He hopes that the family will always have get-togethers for the traditions. His faith helped him through the Vietnam War. His health and a wonderful marriage. Ron and his family celebrate holidays together as a family. Ron says that if he could teach a special hobby or skill to his grandchildren, he would choose welding and running equipment. His favorite Bible verse is Proverbs 3, verse 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." I asked Grandpa if there was anything he would change, and he said he would keep all the same, change his behavior when he was young, try harder to be kind, and give more thanks for what he had. In case you guys didn't realize, today is my grandpa's birthday. Happy 66th birthday, Grandpa. I love you.